Welcome back. It's Prep Talk on Prepping in Progress. And today, I need ideas for an upcoming weekend video. I'm going to tell you what's going on, what the problem is, what the general plan is. And if you guys will hop in the comments or send me a message, we will see about implementing some of them. So stay with us. Hello, and thanks for being with us here midweek. So, the problem. The problem is we had a bunch of 5-gallon buckets with corn and winter wheat stacked on top of each other. Several of the gamma lids have cracked. And I'm not sure how long ago they cracked. I am pretty sure, based upon where they were stored, that squirrels and possibly mice have had a buffet. So, traditional wisdom says throw it all out, start over. Call it a loss. Okay. But, I've got some ideas. I want to see about trying to sift the wheat from the chaff, washing what is still viable, because we don't know what the buggies might have brought with them. Probably drying either in the oven or at room temperature, freezing for any more mites and buggies, and then restoring. And yes, I did not Mylar these before I put them in the 5-gallon bucket. Okay. That's a loss. And we're going to go over this in the weekend video. But does anyone have any ideas about salvaging this situation rather than just going with the traditional throw it away? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. These are what's going through my brain as I try to plan the salvage operation out. So, hop in the comments. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we can come up with. So, yeah. In other random prepping thoughts for this week, it was a failure. Failure on my part to even consider putting a plank in between, something to dissipate the weight a little bit. It was a failure on my part to calculate how high I could go. Stack it to the rafters, as someone used to say. Well, when you stack it to the rafters, be sure the one on bottom can support it, the weight on top of everything on top of it. So, while you're putting stuff away, that's something for us all to think about. And here at Prepping in Progress, we've always said we tell you about our failures just about as much as our successes. That's one thing I like about having this channel being a little rougher than some of the polished big boys. they don't show their failures. One guy always said, well, you only try something on a video that you've already done multiple times so that you know what you're doing and it looks good. Which I agree if I'm doing a show for you. But this is real life. This is a lifestyle. This is not for entertainment value only. This is a peek into the things I do when I'm not at work. It's how I live my life. So, we say, we get into discussions and we say things like, well, how will I know when I'm fully prepped? You might not. Or I've got X amount stored, am I good to go? You might not be. Prepping's a journey, not a destination. It's not, okay, I'm prepared, let's do this. It is cycling through your food stores. It is having 100 number 10 cans of tomato sauce or pasta sauce and opening the oldest one and using it and then replacing it with 2 more. One, you're adding a +1 to your store, but you're also utilizing what you have on hand. You don't have to use your preps only when there's an emergency. You have to replace and add to your preps. If you don't cycle through things, they will get old, they will go stale, there will be problems, period. That's a fact of life. But if you keep adding to what you have, you're going to wake up one day and go, oh my, I don't have to go to the grocery store for 6 months. Oh my, I don't have to buy toothpaste. I don't have to buy deodorant. I don't have to buy adult beverages, if that's your thing. It's a lifestyle. It's a journey. And, you don't do this out of fear. You do this out of, eventually it becomes habit. Eventually it becomes 6 people just dropped in. Oh, okay. We can do this. And you can whip up a meal for these unplanned for guests without having to worry. Miss Kay and I live out near Boxley, Arkansas. And if you know Boxley, it's around the corner from Ponca, and it's a dot in the road. Ponca and Compton have the closest thing resembling stores, and the grocery selection is highly limited. They specialize in a lot of camper foods, things for the people visiting the Buffalo River. And that's a seasonal thing, which means that a lot of the groceries become seasonal groceries. For us to not live a prepping lifestyle, for us to not adhere to budgets and storing up while things are good, if 6 people were to drop in for dinner, it's an hour drive to the nearest gas station. Not gas station, I'm sorry. I got gas a little bit ago. Grocery store. Then it's an hour's drive back. So that's 2 hours plus however long it takes to shop for whatever is needed. You know, if it's just a single can of Rotel and a block of Velveeta, that's a pretty large gas expenditure. You know, let's say you got 16 miles, 18 miles to the gallon. You're traveling multiple gallons of gas. You know, so suddenly you've spent $3.20 times, let's say, just for the math, any law enforcement officer, I don't actually drive 60 in a 55, but let's just say 60 minutes at 60 miles per hour, that's a mile a minute. That's 60 miles to the nearest town, give or take. 60 miles back, that's 120 miles. At 16 miles per gallon, you do the math. Let's even round up and make it nicer. At 20 miles per gallon, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. That is 6 gallons of gas. $3.20 per gallon. 6 times 3 is 18. That's a $20 run, give or take. You know, we're just throwing out rough numbers here. Plus your shopping expenditure. Whereas you drive into town for work, you pick up what you need, plus a little bit, put it in the pantry, and you're good to go. So anyway, you know, and that is the advantage and the disadvantage of already having your location outside of town, outside of mainstream living. You are away, you are on your own, but you're also away and you're also on your own. It's a thought. So, you plan ahead, you use one item, buy 2. You've got a decent place to store it. But you got to be careful on the storage. So that's where we're at. And let me know in the comment section. You know, do the whole like, share, subscribe-y thingy. Shout out to Southern Rose Homestead. You know, candles for when you lose power. You know, I hear they're got a couple that they want us to try out and see how we like them. So I'm looking forward to that. But keep stocking up. Food, water, shelter, and light helps. light can be comforting. Candles are a wonderful thing for light and a little bit of heat. So, we'll talk to you soon. Let me know down in the comment section what you think, what's going through your head, what may or may not work, what I should try to save this situation. We'll talk to you soon.